So I love time travel as a genre. I specifically set out with the idea I wanted to do a game about time travel. Not necessarily the kind of tricky, not sort of the high conflict, violent, serious time travel, but more the goofy, fun, Back to the Future-ish time travel. I fell in love with time travel as a genre from comic books in the 80s. I loved Legion of Superheroes, had lots of time travel in it. And there was a resurgence of comics recently, Chrononauts, Infinite Loop. There's been a great series of stories in time travel, and I became kind of re-obsessed with it, and really wanted to do a time travel theme game. So Sarah is a made-up character. She's an amalgamation of a lot of different people, obviously, in my life. Like, I'm very lucky and blessed to have a lot of strong women in my life. My wife, my daughter, my mother-in-law, my mother, my, large family of relatives and friends, and parts of that all kind of leak into the narrative of the cards and the kind of story I have behind Sarah's Singularity when I was designing it. I spent a lot of time play testing the game with my own daughter, who's 9 and has these aspirations for what she wants to do when she grows up that obviously as a father I want to support, and she has a very active imagination. She, loves dragons and dinosaurs and wizards and fairies, but changes what she wants to do when she grows up on a frequent basis, like most kids do. And so I really wanted to have inspirational types of Sarah cards, kind of with her 9-year-old brain in mind. Where sure, Sarah can be an astronaut or an explorer or visit with a queen in a noble realm, or travel back to ancient Greece and ride Nessie in the River Nile. Like, those were things I was thinking about when I designed the kind of narrative of the cards. At one point, the game had a board with, it was kind of like a racetrack around a wormhole. Tried a number of different things and finally landed on the paradox mechanic that is currently in the game that I'm really excited about, where every single player plays a different version of an alternate future of the same person. But then when you land in the same time zone, you have 2 Sarahs in the same place at the same time. That creates a paradox. And the paradox mechanic essentially allows you to rotate through different special powers in the game. So it took me a while to get to that mechanic, but once I landed on it and got it in front of players, they really took to it. It was kind of a fun and unique way of rotating through players in a game, and people really liked it, and the game kind of grew from that. So what's really, it's challenging to persist with an idea over time. Like, this is true for all things that you try to get good at, but like I would come up with this great mechanic for, if actually I did this just a few weeks ago when I was retesting kind of some of the objectives and kind of trying to finalize on the final Sarah powers. I had a brainstorm in the middle of the night. I'm like, oh, these Sarah powers, I totally have this great idea for these unique Sarah powers. And then I brought them into play and to play test, and the reaction was really mediocre. People didn't like them. There's one companion power that I was super psyched about that totally broke into the 2-player game, and it was something I totally forgot about when I was at 2 a.m, kind of having my design inspiration. And that can be frustrating when you do that, because you essentially, to build a good game, you have to do that, I don't know, dozens, hundreds of times. I have playtests with people, and they frequently, they just love the game and the theme, and they want to give me money right away to pick it up. I get that all the time as well, and that's it's such a good feeling. And I'm so excited to get this into the hands of players who are who like this sort of game and are into this sort of theme, and have gaming groups that also I know will really, really enjoy it. That's super exciting, and I'm super excited about it. And that's what keeps you going, right? This is a game that's been in design for years and has gone through hundreds and hundreds of play tests. It's that feedback from the crew when they try that paradox mechanic for the first time. They're like, wow, this is really cool and unique, and I've never seen a game that does this before. Or the parents who bring their kids in and oh wow, I love the fact that you have these strong female characters in history that I can go learn about, or things like that. It's great. I'm super, super excited about this.